Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Andy, and today we have the March monthly reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements. Welcome guys, I hope that you guys are doing good. We're going to go ahead and get started in your reading for the month. General disclaimer, this is a general reading on YouTube, so it may or may not resonate with you. Take what does, leave what doesn't. Assume that a message that does not resonate with you is most likely just going to be meant for another Scorpio or just another viewer in general, because sometimes, or a lot of the times, especially with you guys, we get cross-watchers. Sorry, I'm so out of breath. I just literally, I don't know why I didn't just take a second to calm down. I feel like I'm kind of in a pain. I'm my energy is low even though it seems like it's pretty high, but I just feel really impatient. I got really impatient while I was setting up because I was really eager, I think, to start getting to these readings. I had a very transformational, sorry if there's smoke, they're burning incense and I should not have left it right here. I had a really emotionally charged, deep healing weekend with dealing with a lot of family issues. And it was good, in a really good way. It was really deep. It's just going back to my childhood and having a lot of really heavy discussions with my parents that I've never had. I spoke with my dad the most I've ever spoken with him in my entire life, in 23 years in one day. So it was a lot. And since I got back, I was gonna make a video about it. I was gonna talk about it, but I'm just kind of sitting with the information because it's more so I'm just wow, I'm still kind of in shock, I think, of what it was that happened. So anyways, that's Mercury Retrograde in Pisces for you specifically. It's a really spiritual, it's really self-reflective time right now. So that's why things are slowing down. I was talking about slowing down. Your channeled message when I was connecting to your energy, Scorpio, what I was being shown was a turtle swimming. It was you know how turtles will go up to the beach sunbathe or whatever. I don't know if there's a scientific reason or an actual reason as to why they go up on the beach, but turtles will go up on the sand, those big giant ones that they'll kind of just sunbathe and they get warm in the sun and then they'll go back into the ocean. And what I was seeing was this giant turtle sunbathing, and then it kind of pivots around and then slowly is making its way to the water. And then I was where's this turtle going? And what I saw was another island kind of next to this island but very far away, and at the pace, actually no, sorry, it wasn't very far away because it's these two islands next to each other. That's what it was. These two islands were next to each other, and it didn't seem very far away. I'm sure it was probably a couple miles, but it didn't seem like it was super far away. You could see the other island from the island that you were on, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. And but it's because of the pace that the turtle was going in, that's what made it seem like the journey was a lot longer than it is. It is because of the pace that you're moving. So if right now, especially right now, because Mercury is in retrograde, so things are slowing down anyways, I think it's for you to reevaluate that when things start to pick back up, are you going with the flow of the current? Are you going at the same speed as the current in the water is? Or are you purposely maybe even self-sabotaging, slowing things down a little bit more so than they need to? Because I really feel if you are going slow, if you're moving at the slow pace prior to Mercury retrograde, and then Mercury retrograde is hitting right now, I feel you guys are either barely even making progress or really stuck. You could be just really stuck in the month of March. You could find yourself really stuck at this time. But just know that I'm pretty sure Mercury retrograde, it ends the first or second week of March. I think it's the second week of March. But there is the 2-week shadow period after that, which I really do think is true. It's always 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after, or even a little bit more. Honestly, I would even be honestly extending that a month before, a month prior to Mercury retrograde. You still feel some of that energy, and I feel leading into it slowly builds up, and then leading out of it slowly, the pressure starts to kind of release in the 2 weeks prior. So just know that it does kind of linger around, that miscommunicative, slower moving energy. That was your channel message, Scorpio. Let me know what you thought about that, and we're gonna get into your reading. So first card out is the Devil in reverse. I love this for you guys because I feel that's why Mercury retrograde is happening in Pisces for you. This is why what's happening, this really slowing down moment and this spiritual connection, this deep, intimate connection that you're feeling with your soul and with yourself right now in the month of March is happening because it's in order for you to realize, and actually it's in order for you to get familiar with yourself. That's what March is for you. March is a month for you to get really in touch with your inner self, with your higher soul, with your higher consciousness, and really get to know who you truly are deep down inside, who you truly are, just in general, but who you truly are. Keywords, who you truly are. Because I feel like a lot of you Scorpios have led most of your life or recently have been tricked by the devil energy, which is really just the ego, have really just been living your lives out of a survival mode, out of what people have told you, what you think people expect of you, etc., etc. False beliefs. Leading your life out of false beliefs. And this month was a month for you, March is a month for you to reconnect with your true self, with your inner self, with your soul, and really get familiar with it and what it does and doesn't value, what it does and doesn't respect, and what you will and will not stand for. And becoming more authentic and acting with integrity of who you truly are deep down inside, and not just who you think you are or who you think people want you to be, etc., etc. Just being you for you. That's what March is going to help bring that's what March is bringing to you. And that's what specifically Mercury Retrograde in Pisces is really doing for you. And then we have the Ace of Wands. So I feel like towards the end of the month, you may be feeling, or even just the beginning of the month, because you're reconnecting with yourself, because you're getting familiar with who you truly are, and it's exciting. It's kind of like, it's almost like starting a new relationship with someone. It's like the honeymoon phase. So there's kind of that burst of excitement that usually will eventually die down because you'll get used to it, right? Doesn't mean that you're gonna bored and you're gonna hate yourself. It just means you'll kind of get used to it, okay? But again, I feel like for Scorpios and for everyone in general, you don't get in that used to it period for very long, because once you get used to it, you get comfortable, and you get comfortable, you get stuck. So the important thing is to continue with that current. Like I said, don't slow down, don't stop. If the world keeps turning, you gotta keep turning with it. And it's when you slow down, it's when you resist, it's when you stop in the middle of traffic, that's when problems occur. That's when people get angry. That's when car crashes and accidents happen, things that were not meant to happen, when we don't stay in the flow, in the current. And that's all by being self-aware, by being mindful of our thoughts, actions, feelings, and by also trying our absolute best every single day to make it a good day for ourselves, to make it a day that's filled with positivity, by choosing positivity, by choosing how you're going to act, by choosing how you're going to react to things. So the choice is yours, the power is yours, is really what I'm getting with the Ace of Wands. It's just letting you know that you have the power to take whatever action you deem appropriate for each situation that you encounter in your day-to-day basis. So I feel like you guys are making like a really big change in your life. Like this is like a whole flip. In the month of March, you're like, you know what? I know that I have bad traits, and I know that I have certain behaviors that aren't good for me, that may hurt me or may hurt people around me, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to let my fear control me. I don't want to let my own mind block me and control me and keep me from beautiful opportunities. And exactly this, 7 of Coins. You don't want yourself to be the thing that's keeping you from really reaping what you sow. You want to sow. I feel like right now you guys are really making mindful choices and making proactive decisions in actually putting in really beautiful positive energy into some really creative and brand new ideas. I feel like you guys are in a very creative state right now because you're breaking free from the ego, because not free, but because you're realizing that the ego is what's controlling you. You're breaking free from the control. It's still going to be there. Our ego, I think, is always going to be there with us on our time here on Earth. And when we absolve from our bodies, human physically, we absolve ourselves of the ego as well, because I feel like the ego just comes hand in hand with the human experience that only happens while we're here. So you're breaking free from the control it has over you, not from it specifically. You're just breaking free from the control because you realize that you are allowing that part, that energy to control you and to consume you, and to manipulate you. And now you're like, no, I choose who I want to be. I choose to plant better, more positive things that I will one day be able to obtain, that I will one day be able to have. I'm going to want better for myself. I'm going to do better for myself because I know better. If you know better, do better, be a better person for it. What else for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising? And then we have the Strength card in reverse. I feel like you're finally going to be getting your courage back. I feel like the devil, your ego has really, there's something about you that you are really self-confident, self-conscious about. There's something that you have, there has been, or there is currently a lack of self-confidence and belief in yourself. And I think that you're finally realizing that whatever this thing is that's in your life or part of your life that causes you to have doubt and to be self-conscious and to have that lack of confidence in yourself, whatever aspect that is for you specifically in your life, you're finally realizing this month that, so what? That thing, by me being self-conscious about this thing, I'm giving that my power. I'm giving this thing power over me, power to control me, so much so that it makes me afraid to go out there and to do the things that I want, to go out there and to make the connections and have the connections and to go after the goals and the dreams and the things that I truly want, because I'm so self-conscious about this thing that I've given power to. That's the ego. It's an illusion, because you're shattering it this month, Scorpio. It's big. This is big. You're realizing that that thing, whatever it is specifically for you, does not have power over you. It doesn't really tell you to be self-conscious. It doesn't tell you to not believe in yourself. You're going to realize, or you are realizing, that the voice in your head is your own voice. It's your own conscious being affected by the fear, being affected by the ego, that starts to then tell you, because the ego just produces the illusion, produces the fear, produces the trick. You choose how you react to it. You know, I get really scared with like jump scares and stuff, but I know some people that don't get startled easily. So like the ego could be represented as that, someone jump scaring me in a group of people, and I would probably let it affect me because, like I said, things like that do scare me. But someone else that might be with me might experience the same exact thing as me, but might not be affected in the same way or at all. So they might not react because they might choose to react in a different way. It's these, whatever you're dealing with, it's by choice that you choose to allow the fear to consume you. And that's what I think that's why you've gotten to where you are, because you've allowed the fear to consume you. You've allowed yourself to believe what the ego / the devil has been whispering in your ear. You believed it. So it's those things where, and I can relate to this because growing up, my parents told me that, like, and this is something that we did talk about, but my parents told me a lot, like, that no one would ever like me because of the way that I was, that I needed to change the way that I was, that I couldn't do this, and I couldn't be this way because I would never make friends or people wouldn't like me, and et cetera, et cetera. And then, like, growing up at school, people would always call me a bitch and this and this and this. And I remember specifically after a certain amount of time of people saying all these things about me, I like claimed it and I became those things on purpose. Though I chose, and I was like, all right, you know what? Everyone thinks I'm a bitch. I'm gonna be a bitch then. Fine. All right, I'll be a bitch, and I'm really gonna be a bitch. And I was like a really bitter, petty person for several years of my life that I don't get to get back. But it wasn't until I realized that that's not who I truly was. It wasn't until I got familiar with myself, with my soul, and realized, hey, the way that I'm acting is not actually who I am, is not actually who I want to be. So then that's when I was like, all right, well, I'm going to stop giving these whispers, these words, the power over me. I'm going to stop letting myself believe that these things are true, because they're not. So I feel like that's really what's happening in the month of March for you guys. It's awesome. It's like really powerful. And then we have the Hierophant. So yeah, you're changing your beliefs. You're changing you're changing the way that you view yourself, the way that you see who you are is changing. The way that you, I think, see the world is changing as well. Something really changed your mind in a very big way, but really deep and profound. And is really making you, it's almost like you could be going through an awakening right now, or you could be going through a reawakening, but I really feel like just because specifically how it's represented here, and I hope you guys can see that, how he's looking in the box, it's like you've opened up Pandora's box, and it's like because your eyes are open and aware to this whole new world that you weren't aware of before, it's kind of making you question what's real, what isn't, what's possible and what isn't, you know? Are my fears really real, or are they just an illusion? Have I just been tricked this whole time? Because I think some of you guys might not like to admit that, or might be having a hard time trying to even like admit or understand that idea that Maybe there wasn't anything to really be afraid of. Maybe you could be who you are. Maybe you can express yourself authentically and true to the core, and it might not be all that bad. Do you get what I'm saying? It might just be your own self allowing yourself to become overwhelmed by this fear that really has been created by your ego, and it's not real. Knight of Cups in reverse, because just remember, the ego wants to keep you stuck. That's the goal of the ego. It wants to keep you from progressing. It wants to keep you from doing exactly what I feel like you guys are probably going to be doing in March, which is getting in touch with your true soul, getting in touch with who you truly are. The ego wants to make you believe that you're this whole other person, that you're this whole other thing that is being formed and shaped straight out of ego and out of fear and doubt and insecurity and all those negative energies or aspects of you that we all have, but you're allowing it to consume you. Clarify the Knight of Cups in reverse. I feel like this is just signifying that you're going to be coming out of any depressive state that you've been in. I feel like careful, because I don't know why, but I'm getting that some of you guys may be prone to some types of substance abuses or are struggling with some type of addiction or substance abuse at this time. Just be careful, because just remember, I feel like your spirit guides or one of your guides are really a male spirit guide of yours is really connecting with me and is really wanting you to know that it's like they want to remind you already, it's like they're saying you already know that these things don't bring like real happiness. Like they're trying to say you can't find happiness in drugs, in alcohol. That's not going to make you really happy. You can drink until you drop dead. You can whatever until you whatever, but you are not going to achieve happiness from doing those things. And I feel like they're saying this because you know this. So they're kind of like, what are you doing? Like you know better. So you have to do better, unfortunately. That's the hard thing. That's the thing that also comes with this, that once you know better, once you've opened Pandora's box and you become aware and you become educated on certain things, it's hard to kind of go back, because you going back is really, that's what's keeping you stuck. That's what's slowing your progress, is by you guys. Some of you guys may be struggling to shift into this higher vibrational path that you're on, this new reality, this new dimension, whatever it is, however you feel it is. Some of you guys may be having a hard time coping with that, with your new self, which is really your true self, just reconnecting with your real soul. And you may want to resist, and you may want to go back and be a certain way that you were before. You may want to go back on your old beliefs that were not so positive, that maybe were negative and hurtful to yourself and others. And it's almost going to be like when you try to do it, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. It just won't really work, because you can't really sustain those old timelines anymore. They're collapsing right now. So our old self, our old ways of beings that were negative for us are collapsing. So there isn't really going to be an old self and old reality to go back to anymore. So don't fight it. Don't resist it. Especially when it's here to do you more good than it is harm. I feel like a lot of you guys are just feeling scared because it's unknown territory is what you're stepping into. Let's get, what are we doing? Blockages. What is blocking Scorpio in the month? Where am I looking? Where's this deck? Did I lose the deck? Okay. We'll do another deck then. Let's do this. Where did that go? I'm missing a couple. Oh, I didn't. I still haven't taken them out of my backpack. This is the first time I'm sitting down to do readings again this week, so I took them to my parents' house. Anyways, alright, so blockages for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements for the month of March. For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements in the month of March. What are some blockages that's getting in Scorpio's way? It's getting in Scorpio's growth and guilt. I feel like it's the fear. Wow. Oh, Scorpios. What's blocking you is the fear of growing, the fear of moving forward and learning And basically it's the future. The future is scary to you right now, and while you're afraid of what's to come, you're also still being haunted of your past, because guilt is always going to be a past energy. We always feel guilty after we have done or not done something. It's never during. Well, it could be during if there's something that you're missing out on or actively doing against. But the guilt is referring to the past, that I feel like you guys are feeling guilty for having taken advantage of a situation in the past. I don't know why when I look at this image, I just feel like, and I'm not saying it's you, I'm just saying I'm getting the feeling that someone took advantage of something or someone. I don't even know if it was towards someone else. I don't know if you took advantage of a situation or someone took advantage of you in a situation. But there's a situation in the past that there's someone took advantage of you or you of them, and you're feeling really guilty about it. And you're whether it was vice versa, you're feeling really guilty that you took advantage, or you're just feeling really guilty that maybe you were taken advantage of in a certain situation, and maybe you're upset about what you didn't do. Maybe you're upset that you didn't ask for help, or that you this and this, or vice versa. You feel really bad of what you did, and you feel that you wish you could take it back. So it's always, again, what we did or didn't do, and you're feeling really guilty. So your past, I feel like, is really haunting you and keeping you from moving forward. And then you're also looking ahead, wanting to grow, but it's like your own fears. You want to grow. I feel like you guys want to experience new things and become more knowledgeable. I feel like you guys also equally value knowledge. I feel like you guys understand that knowledge is power. That's why you guys make really good detectives, because the more you know, the more informed you are, the more powerful you become. And I feel like as you want to move forward, you want to expand, you want to grow, but you're also afraid of that. You're afraid of the new because it's uncertain. It's uncharted territory. You don't know what's to come. You don't know if you'll get hurt again. You don't know if you'll get taken advantage again. You don't know if you'll relapse in your own negative patterns and maybe hurt someone or do the same things that you've done in the past that you said you weren't going to do anymore, but sometimes it's hard to break through. Let's get a closing message from Spirit. We'll use this deck because I feel like you guys are deep and we'll probably be able to understand these messages a little bit more. You probably will understand them better than me. These messages, sometimes some of them fly over my head because they get kind of deep. What I love about words, though, is that any set of words that I string together can be interpreted in many different ways, and even misinterpreted would be an interpretation. People taking things in the wrong way or the right way based on a simple set of words that I use. And that's what I love about this deck, is that I feel like even I know when I read it, I know that I'm sure that there are people that are getting different interpretations from themselves. So just take the message. If what I say of the message doesn't resonate with you, but the words do, just take the words, if anything, because these words are really, really beautiful. And this is this deck is from, I know he was a writer. I think he was like a poet, Cal Gibran. I think that's his name. If I messed up, I'm sorry. Open your heart unto the body of life. Buddy. Why did I say buddy? Open your heart unto the body of life. And the subject is death. The ego. It's the death of the ego. Again, I say I don't want to call it death or dissolving. It's the disassociation from the ego. It's the I'm me and the ego is the ego. They're separate forces, they're separate energies. One is truly who you are, and the other one is more so who you have made yourself to believe you are, who you think that you are, who you think you have to be. All those things, it's not who you truly are, because who you truly are is just who you are. You know what I'm saying? You are who you are. And everything else, the way that you act and think and connect with others and to spread your energy, that all depends on how authentic are you going to stay to yourself? How true are you going to be doing those actions out of the self versus out of the ego? Because I feel like that's kind of where Scorpios are so similar to Geminis, because they know how to act with certain people and et cetera, and they still have an ego as well. That is why the Gemini is very multifaceted, multi-faced, multi-masked, in the same way that Scorpio is kind of the same way, where they have those two sides of them. Because I feel like you guys want to be authentic, you want to be true, but it's also very difficult to break out of your fears that keep you back. Open your heart to life is what this is saying. Open your soul, because again, we have no idea where the soul actually resides in the body. We don't even know if it does reside in the body. But I think our heart is a very powerful physical organ that literally keeps the physical body alive. So I would like to think that it has some sort of direct connection with our actual energetic soul. That's just my belief, but I really think that Spirit is just trying to let you know that you should just open yourself up, open your heart, and open your soul to expressing authentically, and to being open to expressing, and being open to being vulnerable and showing, because that's the beauty of being human, is that we are all just trying really hard to open ourselves to being vulnerable with each other, because we all deep down inside want that vulnerable connection with each other. It's just that we're so afraid of getting hurt, we're so afraid of what we might see in others, we're so afraid of what we might see in ourselves, that we seldom just keep ourselves closed off, and we live life like that. And that's essentially just being dead, and you're just walking around lifeless in a shell. That is not life, that's death. Alrighty, Scorpio, this reading got really, really deep. It feels really beautiful, though. It feels like, I know maybe it didn't sound like that to you guys, but it feels really, really beautiful and profound, and it seems like you guys are really on the right path right now, whatever you guys are doing. I feel like a lot of you guys are really trying to work on the self and improve the self. Keep doing the work, keep focusing on you. I wish you guys the best of luck. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can do so in the description box down below. Send me an email, we'll get it all set up. Like, subscribe, and comment for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.